Could it actually be happening again? Really? While we have the latest numbers in the Atlanta real estate market, which we'll definitely explore, something is happening right now that, if it continues, is going to be bad news for most of you out there. We're going to talk about it all, and we're doing it right now. Let's do it. Hey, if this is your first time to this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living in Atlanta, Georgia and the surrounding areas, subscribe below and tap that notification bell so that you'll be the first to know about the current market here in Atlanta, Georgia. My name is Jonathan and my team and I are getting calls, texts, and emails from people just like you looking to make their move to Atlanta, and we love it. So whether you're making that move right now, in a month from now, or a year from now, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Our contact information is below in the description, and we'd be happy to help you to make that smooth move here to Atlanta, Georgia. It's all about the numbers today, and as we jump into Metro Atlanta real estate stats, really there are two things for you to take from this video. You will see one story being told by the numbers that definitely show a continuation of a shifting market. Then there's what's been happening over the last couple of weeks that shows what can only be described as a disturbing trend, and we'll get into that in a few minutes. All right, so let's take a look at the market stats here. And so we're going to start with this yearly trends for detached homes. Single-family homes here in Metro Atlanta. And so here we're looking at comparing January 2023 to January 2022. And we can see, as we all know, we've had a rise in number of active homes, less homes pending, and the pending ratio has definitely gone down. The number of sold properties has also significantly gone lower to 1,951 this past month in January 2023 compared to January 2022. None of this is really a surprise at all. We've seen this trend, and again, we're finally starting to see seasonality come back into the real estate market, whereas over the past few years, everything has just gone crazy and wacky. Seasonality typically shows home sales go down in January this time of year. But that's not a problem. Inventory's gone up to 3.3 months of inventory. Still very much a seller's market, but it was good to see inventory go up. However, this number can be misleading. So I wanted to break down the numbers here to kind of show you how this can be misleading. We see that back in January 2022, the inventory was just 1.1 months. That makes it seem like we have a lot more homes on the market now in 2023 than we did in 2022. Well, that's actually not the case, because as I've stated before in the videos I've done, that monthly supply of listings is not just how many homes are on the market, but also based on the rate at which those homes are being purchased, and that's how we get this inventory number. And so when you look at actually the active, the pending, right, and you look at the number of homes sold, in 2022 we actually had 13,112 homes in total in 2022 in the Metro Atlanta area. So that's how many homes were on the market, whether they were active, pending, or sold. If we look at January 2023, we'll see that number is actually 12,432 homes. So there's actually about 700 fewer homes, right, on the market, either under contract or sold or just active in 2023 than 2022. So when we look at this inventory number, we need to note that yes, the inventory is higher, but the total of homes is lower. And again, how that happens is it's not just the number of homes on the market, but also how quickly these homes are being purchased. And right now we just have a lot fewer homes being purchased than we did back in 2022. But in total, there's actually still fewer homes on the market. This is going to play a big factor in some information that I'll be giving soon. Median sales price is down to $400,000. This is where this number comes a little bit significantly, and that's that this is the first time we've seen in years, I'd have to go back and look, to where the year-over-year median sales price actually has stayed the same. For at least, 4 or 5 years now, we've seen that this number has gone up year over year when I look over year over year. However, in this case, this is the first time this has stagnated from last year to this year. We also see the median sales price to list price ratio go down to 95.2%, so not as many homes are being sold at the list price. They're decreasing by almost 5%. And days on market is 46 days on market. We'll continue down to the next chart here where we're looking at the monthly trend. So that last one was comparing January 2022 to 23. Now we're going to compare the last 6 months and what's happened. And again, we've seen this active number go down. So we're having fewer homes go on the market. This is typical when you get to the winter season and the holiday seasons. This would be thought as we get to February, March, that this number will go up. Pending ratio. Again, we see November, December time it goes down. January still a little low. Expecting February to go up. Pending ratio has gone down, but we have seen a jump in January to 38.5%. So that number starting to trend upward. Not a surprise there. And again, sold listings in January was lower. You may ask yourself, well, why was it lower than November and December? That's because anything that closed in January is more likely under contract in December. So again, a lot of people aren't doing a lot around the holiday seasons in December. So fewer homes that closed than in January is not a surprise. All right, still big number here to point out, distressed homes. These are homes that the seller of the home owes more money on the home than they actually could sell it for. And so this number being in 0.4% is super low compared to historical norms. We still have a very healthy market out there. Homeowners still have a lot more equity in their home so if they were to sell it, they could get plenty of money out of it. So there's no reason to go into foreclosure or anything like that for a vast majority of homeowners. Failed listings, 43% of listings failed. It's starting to get into a pretty big number there of homes that go on the market and do not get an offer on it. And then months of inventory, 3.3 months. Again, we talked about that just a second ago. We see the median sales price here at 400,000. Again, month over month, that's continued to go down. Not surprising. Again, we're seeing seasonality here. We may see it tick down, but I'm going to talk about some information soon. This may be the bottom number of what we see here for maybe this entire year. And then days on market, 46 days. So homes are definitely staying on market a little longer. Talk about what I think is going to happen there. Now we're going to look at supply, the months of inventory that we see based on the list price of the home. And I've talked about this before. One of the indicators of a shifting market is usually homes that are in the higher price ranges. You will see all of a sudden the inventory start to build. When the inventory of higher priced homes starts to build, then what you have is you'll have those homes starting to take price reductions. When those price reductions starting to go down, well, it's a domino effect. If this $800,000 or $900,000 home all of a sudden starts dropping into the $700,000 range, then that $700,000 home doesn't look as enticing anymore, and that has to start to drop in price. So we can see here at the $800,000-$900,000 range, all of a sudden we've bumped into a balanced market at 6 months of inventory, and the $900,000 to $1 million, still slightly seller's market, but again close enough to a balanced market. Same thing for the $1 to $1.5 million, and then we see 1.5 and over. We're now into a buyer's market here, and from 1 to 1.5 and down, we see that it's been lower, and all of a sudden we have this kind of big jump in January of inventory. Overall, again, 3.3 months of inventory. We look at it completely. Again, I've talked about this before too. When you get to these higher values, these 3 million plus homes, 2 million, 1.5, there are a lot fewer of these homes. So you can see more drastic increases and decreases in these depending on what's happening in the market. So a big jump isn't, really scary as right now. Now, if you saw a big jump in inventory in the 400s and the 300s and stuff like that, that's when you can definitely get worried as a seller and maybe be happy as a buyer. But that's this chart here. I'm going to briefly look at the yearly trend for condos and townhomes. Again, comparing January 2022 to 23, inventory's higher, pending's lower. The pending ratio is lower. None of these are surprising. Sold's lower. So again, all of these things are about what we've come used to seeing. We'll show you this though. The median sales price, all right, compared from January 2022 to 2023 is still higher by 7.4%. We see it at 316,820. Again, the condos and townhomes don't show seasonality most of the time because these are typically sold all year long to the same person that's coming in to buy these. So we've talked about single family detached homes lots of times. These are families coming in to purchase these homes that have kids, that schools play a factor in it. So a lot of people don't want to move during the school year. Whereas townhomes and condos, plenty of families buy these, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot more of people that don't necessarily have kids purchasing these homes. And so seasonality is just not as big of a factor in the townhome and condo community. And so looking at this price, being higher, not a surprise, but maybe gives us an indicator of what's coming. And again, I'm going to talk about that. Coming down here to the 6 month trend, we can see, again, this probably gives us the best indication that there has been some market correcting. We were at 332,000 back in August, now down to 316,000 here in January. So that number has ticked down slightly. Still interesting enough that the list price has gone down a lot less than the median sales price. So homeowners are still clinging on to the value of their homes. Month supply and inventory is 3.1 months. So that's a nice jump there, getting a little bit more healthy for us. Median days on market up to 39 days on market. And then looking at this, same thing here when it comes to supplies versus the list price of the home. A lot more homes on the market, or I should say a lot more inventory, not as many homes, but more inventory on the market when it comes to anything at the 900,000, even this 800,000 to 700,000. Above that, we're in a buyer's market pretty much. Below that, we're in a seller's market. Again, none of these are shocking numbers at all if you've been following the market. Now that we've looked at the numbers for January, let's start talking about what I'm seeing right now in the month of the end of January and the month of February where we're at right now. There has been a quick change in what's happening in this market. And it's pretty surprising too. What happened with interest rates plays some factor in that, and that's the interest rates started to stabilize for a good month or two. They were right around the 6% mark, dropped just below it for a second, and then really healthy job numbers caused that number to go up, because really healthy job numbers indicates that the Fed's probably going to raise the rates more than 1 to 2 times they said they were going to or was predicted to. They're now looking at 2 to 3 rate hikes, which caused the interest rates now to bump back up to about 6.5%. With that said, here's what happened. Mid-January started to see this, and now into February. I'm seeing a lot of multiple offers again. I know for anybody that experienced that, maybe you were a buyer in 2020, 21, decided to take a break, maybe you're thinking about coming back in the market, but that is terrible news, and I'm with you. It's not the best news, but I'm starting to see it. I talked with multiple agents. I'm constantly in team meetings. I have a lot of agents in our office, have these meetings every week, and over again, about 3 weeks ago, we started to hear about multiple offers again from a number of agents. One agent even talked about having a cash offer, $30,000 over the list price, that did not win the offer. That's scary. And the reason why that's scary is as many of you mentioned that watch this channel, we've had historic rise in home values over these past few years since the start of the pandemic to now. And so the thought was, and for most of last year, people talked about a crash happening in the market. Now, I never thought a crash was going to happen. Inventory's just too low for that. But I did think that a leveling out made sense. Maybe a slight decrease, but not much. A lot of people got out of the market for trying to purchase a home. They just went to renting, or they went to living with family, or trying to figure out something that way. What's happened though over this past few weeks is we've actually had a 25% increase in loan applications. So Mortgage lenders are seeing a lot of loan applications come in. So those people that maybe took a break are now saying, hey, it's a good time to buy. They're starting to jump back in this market. Now, that's not a bad thing, but what's bad is inventory still just hasn't gone up. As I showed in the comparing the January 2022 to 23 numbers, even though the inventory is higher in terms of the number we use to calculate that, the number of homes on the market versus the rate at which they're being purchased, the actual total number of homes is 700 homes less than they were last year. And as I've said, we have an inventory problem. We just don't have enough homes for sale. What I am noticing is for these multiple offer homes, here's kind of the trend I've been seeing. They've been reasonably priced. So these homes aren't crazy. As I've run numbers on them, the list price seems to match up what comparable properties have sold for. These are pretty close to move-in ready homes. So for those people still trying to list homes that need a new roof, a new HVAC system, and pricing them high, they're still sitting there for now, and hopefully that continues. But for homes that are as close to move-in ready or move-in ready, and that they're listing the price right, they're going fast, they're getting multiple offers. Just had a buyer got under contract yesterday that we had multiple offers on it. Thankfully, we were a cash buyer. Thankfully, I communicate with the agent, looked at the market, gave reasonable offer. In communication with that agent, they actually liked our offer. We weren't necessarily at the highest, but after some negotiation back with them, and again, keeping that constant communication open, we ended up winning the offer for the buyer. Great news. I always make sure I educate my buyers on what I think the current price is, where I think the market is going, so they can make an educated decision on whether they want to go higher than the list price of the home. In this situation, here's some information that's going to be very important for those that are looking to buy and thinking, oh my gosh, multiple offers now, what's happening? Well, I would say now is a pretty good time to buy if you're going to buy this year. Here's a few factors that are going to play into that. One is, there's a few surveys I've been looking at. One was of mortgage lenders, and of the mortgage lenders that were surveyed, 63% of them think that we've reached the peak of the interest rates here in the first quarter of 2023. Another 22% think that peak is going to come in the second quarter of 2023. So by the mid part of summer, a vast majority of them think that interest rates have topped out and are going to start coming down. Of course, if interest rates come down, that's going to open up the ability for more buyers to hit this market. Next stat that was super eye-opening. So, new survey that came out of 150 of the top economists here in the United States, and here's what they think of housing over the next 5 years. They think that the value of homes over the next 5 years is going to increase by 23%. Right? I'm going to repeat that. 150 of the top economists here in the US think that home values over the next 5 years will increase by 23%. I know we've had some huge increases over these last few years. To think that we're going to even go further than that by 23%, also, that's a little scary to me. I don't know if I totally agree with that, but seeing what's happening right now, I do think home prices are going to start ticking back up, especially here in the Atlanta area. Atlanta was already predicted to be a hot market, and that's very much what we're seeing right now. We are seeing people moving in from other states coming here because of the jobs that are available here, and still comparatively speaking, we're affordable than a lot more cities that are the same size of Atlanta. With all that said, just know that getting in, like I said, right now might be the best thing. Now you're thinking, well, maybe I'll wait till interest rates goes down. If they do go down, what you can do if you purchase right now is refi your home in the next year or two. So it's something that you can think about. There are also things I've talked about before on this channel called 2-1 buy downs for homes that bring the rate down that for the first year by 2%, by the second year in your loan by 1%, and then that third year it goes to whatever you have as your rate for your home. The goal for that would be a couple of things. One is getting the seller to actually pay for that for the buyer. That is, everything's negotiable in real estate. It's a possibility. However, if you're getting multiple offers on a home, that's less likely. The other thing is after, if you're thinking that the rates will come down, if you're trusting what these economists are saying and these lenders are stating, that if you can bring that rate down by 2% that first year and 1% that second year, as you wait over those years, maybe when that third year hits, you refi. Maybe when that second year hits, it makes sense to refi. So there's a lot of options out there for you. Talk with your lender, talk with your agent, get educated on this. But that's what's happening right now. It's a little bit of surprise. I thought the market would tick back up, but I did not think it would happen as quickly as it is. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on what you're seeing out there. If you're one that studies the market, are you scared of what's happening? Does this excite you? Are you looking to list your property? It'd be a good time if you're looking to buy. Would love to discuss more with you about those options you may have. Atlanta is such a great place to live, and there are so many great suburbs to call home. Whether you're moving right now, a month from now, or a year from now, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, as we'd be happy to help you make that smooth move here to Atlanta, Georgia. Until then, hope to see you around town. Thanks, and I'll see you next time.